Last session, we have discussed about what that? All about internet related topic we have discussed, right? So question number one is LAN users. Your LAN uses traffic to reach unknown destination is internet. Like how exactly your traffic is reaching internet? The first configuration we required default routing, right? So default routing generally we used to configure for what purpose? To access internet, which is unknown destination. Next point number two is a within the LAN we call is a private network. Internet is public network. So from private users traffic, how we can reach the internet? So we required one mechanism to translate private traffic to public and vice versa. So that mechanism is a NAT, network address translation. The NATing types also have a three methods. One is a static NAT and dynamic NAT and PAT. Right? So static NAT is a 1:1 ratio. Like how many private IPs we have, the same public IPs are equal, and manually we need to mapping. So and so private IP address have to reach internet via so and so public IP address. So 10.0.0.2 IP address always can reach internet by using what? 82.1.8.9. This is a fixed static NAT. Similarly, 10.3 IP address always can reach internet by using 192.168 like 92.1.8.9, right? So and so private IP address, so and so public IP address, manually we need to mapping is what? Static NAT. Generally, the static NAT we used to configure to hosting public servers, like server to internet. Okay, and dynamic NAT. In the dynamic NAT, same similar to static NAT and dynamic NAT, both are same, but only the difference is what in static NAT manually we need to define so and so private IP address to so and so public IP address. In the case of dynamic NAT is what? Automatically mapping. Same in the dynamic NAT also 1:1 ratio type, right? But PAT, port address translation, many private users. Here, many private users traffic can reach internet by using only one public IP address. So many private users traffic means what, guys? Up to 60,000 private users traffic can reach internet by using only one public IP address, right? So these are our NATing methods. So where we use PAT, like all users the same time can access internet. All users means what? They enter the whole network. So before configuration of PAT or NAT, like first we need to define ACL. ACL also will come in the picture, right? Access control list. ACL will come in the picture. Okay. So what is the configuration is must. First configuration. Default routing. NAT. Along with NAT, ACL also. So default routing forward where destination is unknown. NATing is going to mapping, changing one IP into another. So ACL is going to permit the traffic to for access all services. That ACL also can use 1 to 99. Why? Because it's a standard ACL. Between any number you can use. Okay. So this is what we had discussed in the last class, right? Like today, let me continue with the topic is network services. Some network services will try to discuss clearly. So here today our first scenario is see the router names is the R1 router, R2, R3, R4. Like total we have R100 routers. This is my office. Office name is ABC. In office ABC have a total 100 branches, 100. branches or 100 routers. All are connected, these lines or whatever links are being connected. So for router 2, how many routers are connected directly? R1 is connected directly, R3 is directly connected, R4 is directly connected, right? Example, we go to R1 router here in the packet traces topology. Interface serial 0/0. I'm making my link is down, shut down. So once you enter the command shutdown, so immediately we are getting one log message. What is the log message? Interface serial 0/0 changed state to administratively down. This is the log message, right? After some time, my link is being activated. Again, we get one more log message. What is the log message? The same interface serial 0/0 changed state to up. Again, after some time, my link is been down, log message. If link is been up, log message. Okay. All the logs are being generating, right? Any changes for the interfaces, we are getting the log messages. The same thing happened in the real time also. For R2 router, if serial 0/0/1 link is being down, log message. If it's activated, log message 0/2 is down, log message 0/0 is down, log message is up. Like any changes in any interface, we are getting one log messages. Is all the log messages will be stored inside the router. So that memory we call router buffer memory. The router buffer memory, let's say example here, day 1 logs are being stored. Similarly, day 2 logs, like day 3 logs, day 4 logs, day 5 logs, like up to 10 days logs information is being stored. Now day 11, from day 11, since all the logs information to store my buffer memory is being full after 10 days. So not exactly 10 days, just example is what 10 days. So what about day 11 logs? You know what exactly router is doing, buffer is doing. So to store the day 11 logs, automatically router is going to erase day 1 logs information. In day 1 logs informations are being erased, and in the day 1 logs place, day 11 logs are being storing here. Now the next day, day 12 logs. So to store the day 12 logs, what router will do? Day 2 logs are being erased. Like day 13, day 14, some the number of days are being logs is storing. Like after 6 months or 1 year, network security audit is happening, is going in my office, network security audit. Now the person is asking, I need a day 1 and day 2 logs. And in network security auditing is asking what? Day 1 and day 2 logs. Can you get the day 1, day 2 logs guys here? It's already erased, right? Then how we can get day 1 and day 2 logs? So this is the problem with router internal memory we call buffer memory, right? Now, second scenario, second the drawback is actually in your offices, you know the employees roles and employees levels, especially in our network team. The first one is a NOC, Network Operation Center, NOC team. The next L1, L2, L3. So L1 level, L1, L2 level is also have a different areas, different like a technology. You know what? What say is NL1, NL2,
ايوه
NL.
لا
Okay.
ايه واي
Mustafa, can you hear me, Mustafa?
ايه واي ಹ್ಮ್ ninkii marka hore inoo soo xidhay miya ee dee cabashada inoo keenay odaygii meesha
Right. Hello, can you hear me, guys? Okay. Now, in network team, NL1, network L1. Another department is a DL1, desktop L1. It's very entry level job, DL1. So NL1 is the highest actually, right? So compared to DNL1, so NL1 is a good. So the any job roles also don't consider L1. So L1 is okay, but which is the best for NL1 is the best. So most of the companies will not define is a NL1 is a DNL1. Just simply we can send the mails is what L1 positions are opening. What people will do? Okay, no problem. We'll go to join in L1. But which is L1? Is it DL1 or L1? That we need to make sure that we need to ask them. So L1, okay, sir. The L1 is in a desktop or network? This is the main point. Okay, guys, here. So what is the roles and responsibility of NOC team? So NOC team has to log into router and what are the links are being failed? At what date? At what time? Why links is being down? What is the problem? What is the issue? This all the information they need to keep monitoring. Monitoring job is a network operation center. Like how NOC team can know so which link is being failed, which link is being activated. So they have to log into router and open the buffer memory and they can see the logs information, right? But generally, the NOC team, they don't have a privileges to log into routers. So generally, we don't share the password to NOC team. So L1 engineers and L2 engineers only privilege to log into routers. Then how NOC team can have the logs information? This is the second scenario. So first one is a buffer memory. What's the drawback? Once the buffer is being filled, like early previous logs are being deleted. Right? In NOC team, how to log into router? They don't have a privilege to log into router. Then how NOC team will come to know? So what are the links are being down on the what date and what time? What are the issues? How they can monitor? So for both the situations, what I'm doing is I'm telling to router, hello router, don't store if you have any logs information. So don't store inside your buffer. So any logs information is there. So just send to my external computer, external device. So this method, this process, the required one server calls syslog, log messages, syslog, system logs. Syslog server. So what I'm doing is I have installed TFTP server, TFTP application. So once if I TFTP install, now my PC is acting like a TFTP server. I mean syslog server. Let's consider now my PC is a syslog server. If my computer IP address is 192.168.1.10. So what I'm telling to router, so router, if I have any logs, please send to this IP address device. So just I can configure here, logging on, logging host, 192.168.1.10. Then what router will do? If any logs information, so what router is going to not just store inside the buffer, will directly send to a syslog server can be maintained like day 1, day 2, like monthly wise and yearly wise, number of years also can be stored, right? So now what network the NOC team will do? The NOC team no need to log into router. Why? All the log messages we are getting from your Syslog server. So what NOC team is doing is they will access Syslog server. By seeing the syslog information, they can come to know which link is being failed, at what date, at what time, what is the issue. All those things they can be monitored from a syslog. So which team can access to log into router from L1 engineers? They can log into a router and they can configure, they change IP address, whatever the configuration can be made by L1, L2, L3 team. But NOC team will come to operate with syslog. Clear, guys? Syslog is a protocol that allows a network device to send their system messages, notification across the network message collectors, right? What's the main purpose of syslog? Used for network management and security auditing. Device can be configured to forward syslog messages to various destinations. What is the destination? Two various. One is buffer and one more is syslog server. Which is the best, guys? Buffer memory or syslog server? Syslog server, right? Why? If it's a buffer memory, we have a drawback is once the buffer is been full, like previous days logs information has been erased. At the same time, NOC team want to monitor the what are the logs are being, what are the links are being removed. So this information also to manage that, the syslog is the best. Even the real time also, network engineers and NOC team people can take over about what? Syslog. One is buffer and one more is syslog. Buffer means what, guys? Internal memory buffer. Syslog server to syslog server. You can copy it now. Yeah, Pradeep, VLANs we can configure in any vendor of device. Every switch, every vendor switch can maintain the virtual LAN. Not a protocol actually. We just managing. We are dividing a one broadcast domain into multiple broadcasts. That is VTP. VTP is the protocol. So VTP actually is Cisco has been developed. Cisco protocol is the VTP. For other vendors, some vendors can be supported, some vendors cannot support it. So which vendors are not supported, for that vendors we need to configure manually. But VTP is actually Cisco protocol. Okay. Right. Thank you. Let me show you the small practical about syslog information. In real time, generally, we used to install TFTP application. See this app, TFTPD, TFTP D32. We verify here TFTP server, TFTP client, DHCP server, and one more option is what we have here is log server. So here we can get all the logs information in real time. But now I'll show you the example, practical example in the Cisco package software. So how we can do this log practical means you can take one server here. First one is PC, laptop, and one more is a server. Connected to switch. Router IP is 10.1 and the same network IP address that we assigned to server also 10.0.0.10. Services option. The services, we have the number of services DHCP, HTTP, DHCP, DHCP v6, TFTP, DNS. So we require not what? Syslog. Click on Syslog server. And this Syslog server default is already on, or you can off also, can on also. Should be on. Now let me tell to router. What I'm to tell router, if you have any logs information, so don't store inside the server, inside the router buffer memory. So just send to syslog server, external server. Let me configure router now. So what is the server IP address, guys? I mean, just now we have configured, right? What is the server IP address? 10.10. Here, logging on, logging host, server IP is 10.0.0.10. Just two comments. The logs are being on and logging host. Like whenever have any logs information sent to 10.10 computer. I mean 10.10 device. Now let me do any modifications. I am going to remove the link and again have added services syslog. Shut down and no shutdown. Manually will do it. Interface serial 0/0. Shut down. Shut down. Now if you check the log messages in the server, just click on syslog. Here you can get the log messages actually. Wait for some time. Now let me check once again. Logs have been started or not. Still no logs. Let me try once again. Let me check with the 10.10 any conflict is there. Let me change into 10.100. Yes, Pradeep. 10.10 is also running from another computer. Make it down. Again, no shutdown. Now if we go to uncheck, we reconfigure once again the Syslog server. Logging on, logging host 10.00.10. Or else we'll let me change the IP for Syslog server 111. Logging on, logging host 10.111. Now let me do some modifications. The link logging on interface 00 down, activate it, and come to server or to services, check this log. Now I can get the log message here, right? Serial 0/0, change state up, again down, again activate it. We do another link, remove the link, and again have attached 0/1. The log message from where? Now getting the log message from interface serial 0/1, right? So clearly showing here 0/1 logs is there. Is all the log messages coming from 10.0.0.1 IP? Like this, we can configure this. Yeah, actually, RAM gateway, when exactly gateway is required? Actually, we didn't assign the gateway, right? When gateway is required? So when exactly gateway required means actually here router IP and server IP both are in what? Same network. Router IP is 10.1, server is 10.111, both are in same network, right? Gateway is not required. When gateway is required? When traffic is going for different network, then only gateway is required, right? Like this. You can copy the configuration path. Syslog configuration, only two commands. Logging on, logging host, server IP. Right. This is a Syslog configuration. Now let me see one more scenario, one more service. Show clock. See, once I've entered the show clock, what's the clock is showing here now? March 1st, 1993 is showing, right? Now, if any link is being down here, for head office router, if any link is being down, so when logs are being generating in 1993 March 1st date is generating the logs. But actually, when link is being activated in 2020, April link is being activated, right? Not like that. So in my network, all routers should maintain the same date and time. So we can set the date and time manually for your routers. Let me show you how to set the date and time manually. Let me check for another router. This is branch 1 to clock. Image job showing is what? March 1st, 1993. Like we can set the clock. So how can set the clock means clock set in previous mode. Clock set. What's the time now? Exact time is what? Say 2:42 seconds. 10 seconds. Date 22. Month April. Year 2020. Like we can set it. So first one is a time, hours, minutes, seconds, month, and year format. This is a format. You see now show clock. Now can get. So AM PM is day. It depends upon the 24 hours timing, right? We can set also like that. Showing what is May, April 22, 22. See the method we can set the clock. But actually, how many routers in my network? For an office ABC, how many routers is it? Total 100 routers. So each and every router, if you set the manually, so there is a chance for time difference, right? So my requirement throughout my network, throughout my organization, each and every networking devices should be maintained exact date and time. And how it is possible. So what I'm doing is I am installing one server. I have connected to my network. So what I'm telling to my 100 routers, all 100 routers, you can get automatic date and time from the server. You no need to configure date and time manually. Don't configure it. If you're doing the configure manual configuration, there is some difference, right? So don't do configure manually. Like all 100 routers can be synchronized with the server. So this server, we call it is a NTP, Network Time Protocol. Like all number of devices, like your routers, switches, access points, firewalls, like all networking devices can be synchronized with one centralized time zone. So this is the protocol we call this what? NTP protocol. NTP, Network Time Protocol. NTP is used to synchronize the time throughout network devices, like which type of devices? The servers, switches, routers, wireless access points, all devices. Synchronize their clock with a centralized source clock. The port number, information about NTP server. You can copy. Okay. Now let me show you the configuration, how to configure this NTP and how you can get automatic date and time. Already we have one server here, right? On the server, have services. Now the service is NTP. NTP is already on. Now let me log into router. Showing the date and time is what? March 1st, 1993. Instead of manual clock set, configuration mode, NTP server. The server IP address, guys, 10.0.0.111. Enter. That's it. Only single command. NTP server 10.0.0.111. NTP server IP address. Back to privilege mode. Now if you check the date and time, show clock. What is showing here? This day April 22. It's clearly showing, right? Like, first option is what? Manual. Manually can set it. Instead of manual second, the best practice is what? NTP server is the best practice. Okay. Yeah, for switches also same thing. For switches, servers, routers, firewalls, same command. Even switch also same command. Now let me say one more service called DHCP. Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol or Control Protocol. Both you can use. Configuration or you use Control Protocol. So what the DHCP will do? So DHCP is going to provide automatically, dynamically IP address to DHCP clients. So DHCP can provide automatic IP address and subnet mask and gateway and DNS server IP address to DHCP clients. Let me show you how to configure DHCP. So for all end users, generally we can assign what? DHCP IP address. In head office router, IP DHCP pool. You can use any pool name. Example, pool name is Zoom. IP DHCP pool name Zoom network, and which network do you require IP address? 10.network. Subnet mask 25000. Now what will be the gateway address? Default hyphen router. Gateway address is 10.0.0.1. And have the local DNS server. Then you can option DNS server also. You don't have the global DNS server 8.8.8. 3 lines. IP address, subnet mask, gateway address, and DNS server. Now let me access any device. IP configuration. Instead of start, you can use a DHCP. Click on DHCP. Request IP address. DHCP request is successful. Now IP address is what, guys, here? Showing 10.0.0.2.255. Gateway and DNS server. For second device, same option. Click on DHCP. Now IP address is being successful. 10.3 again. Next device. .4. Like, don't go for the like server. You know why? Why? Because we have already configured. NTP is configured. Syslog is configured. IP address is what? 10.0.0.111. If you go for same thing for DHCP for server, like IP will provide what? 10.4, 10.2, 3, 4, 10.5, right? Then NTP will not work, and Syslog also don't work. So try to keep the same IP for server. Don't change it. Okay. So DHCP is going to assigning IP address in the random, like a sequence order, right? 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5. Now, first computer IP address is what? 10.0.0.2. So this IP address, how long will be this computer? 10.2 IP address, how long will be this computer? Is it a 1 hour or 2 hours or 1 day or 2 day? Like how long? So the same IP for this computer. It depends upon the Windows DHCP. It depends upon the DHCP server. So you are getting DHCP from where? You are getting DHCP from the Windows server or Linux server or Cisco router or your D-Link router. So from where exactly you are getting the DHCP IP address? It depends upon that. So the time we call lease time. If you are getting the DHCP IP address from Windows DHCP server, default timing is 8 days. Anyhow, we can change the timing also, but default time is what? 8 days. If IP from Cisco routers, 1 day. After you can get the renew. Anyhow, we can change it. We can change the lease time, number of hours, number of minutes, and number of days. Number of days we can take. Number of days, number of hours, number of minutes. Three options, three columns. Days, hours, minutes. Yeah, we can set the lease time, Pradeep. Like if I'm setting the lease time, 365 days lease time. The 365, the same IP address for that computer. Is not going to change. It's constant up to 365 days. Default is a 24 hours, but we can change it. That is what I'm telling is. So we can change into 365 days. And what happened? So up to 365 days, the each computer same IP address they can implement ACR. Like that. Okay. Right. DHCP. DHCP server provides IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server IP address to DHCP client. A router can be configured both as DHCP server and DHCP client. Configuration of DHCP. Like just know how to configure, right? Example IP DHCP pool. Pool name is configure Zoom, network ID 10.0.0.0, subnet mask 250.0.0.0, default route 10.0.0.1, DNS server. My example, I used 8.8.8. The least time, number of days, number of hours, number of minutes. Exit. Like you want to exclude some IP address, you want to reserve some IP address. Like DHCP is going to do your 10.0.0.2, 3, 4, 5, like is assigning IP address, right? But now my requirement is I want to exclude some range of IP address from 10.2 to 10.0.0.30 IP addresses we need to exclude it. So this range IP address we have to make use statically in our LAN. Then I can tell you DHCP server. IP DHCP excluded address range is 10.0.0.2 and is a 10.0.0.30. Then what DHCP server will do? DHCP will never make use 10.2 to 10.30 IP address. Now DHCP server will start assigning from which IP address, guys? From 10.0.0. We start from 31. 10.2 to 10.30 is a range. So 10.2, 3, 4, 5, these all the IPs are being excluded. IPs are being reserved. Now DHCP server will start assigning for clients from which IP address means 10.31, 32, 33 like this. Okay. Let me show the example practical here. So click on router. Exit. IP. DHCP. Exclude address range 10.0.0.2 space 10.0.0.30. The command has been executed. Now if we check IP address, let me go to PC and IP configuration. DHCP 10.0.0.31 I got the IP address, right? The next computer 10.32 like this. Okay guys. The configuration can copy. it. So verification command is show IP DHCP binding. So by seeing this command, we can come to know which IP has been assigned to which device. Show IP DHCP binding. Right. Okay, right, guys. Now we'll go with one more scenario, which is internet. Try to focus on it. My router, LAN port, FE0/0, IP 10001, routing table 10000 connected to FE0/0. So LAN port to switch and switch to end user devices. Now internally you can use 10.10, 10.20, 10.30 like IP addresses. They can communicate each other. To get internet, your router is connected to ISP. Okay, tell me any one service provider name. Airtel. Okay, right. So from Airtel, I got one link. Is connected to my router. I'm getting here 80 Mbps link speed. This is my link. And ISP is connected to internet. Now, so once ISP cable is connected, for your WAN port, we can get a public IP address. Let's consider public IP address is a like 18.1.2.9 is also active upstate. Now the routing table is being updated with 18.0.0.0 network. This connect to serial 0/0. Now LAN users to reach internet, what configuration we need to configure inside the router, guys? Now tell me, guys. So what configuration is must? ACL, okay. Enough? ACL is enough? It's routing. Perfect. Perfect, Mr. First we need what? We require a default routing 0.0.0.0. Default routing is configured. So only default routing is enough? No, we need to permit all services. We need to configure what? ACL. The same time we require what? NAT also to translate private traffic to public and public traffic to private. So now my router is ready for packet forward to internet. Now only all LAN users can reach internet. The process is LAN users to router, router to ISP, ISP to internet with how much speed? 80 Mbps. What is the service provider? Airtel. Everything is going good, but after some time, if service provider is being failed, If ISP is down, now LAN users can reach internet? No. Now I make a phone call to ISP. So ISP, from my end, everything is been clear. Is there a problem? Then what ISP will do? So sorry for the inconvenience. My fiber cable is being failed, and my team is going to do troubleshooting. It may take time 4 to 8 hours. Mail replies came. Now can you demand to ISP? No, right? So we need to wait for 4 hours or 8 hours or 1 day or 2 days. Is a downtime actually, right? So this type of network topologies we called single point of failure. So here we have only one ISP. If ISP is down, no internet access. So to avoid single point of failure, what we'll do in the real time? So we need to maintain backup. We need to maintain redundancy. So let us consider this is a ISP1, which is my primary link 80 Mbps. Now for backup purpose, I am taking one more link. This is ISP2, one more link from Airtel. So why exactly ISP2 is required, guys? Why ISP2 is required? Redundancy, backup purpose. If ISP1 is failed, you can go by ISP2. Is only backup purpose means this link is connected to my one more WAN interface, which is serial 0/1. So ISP2 for backup purpose, then what I'm doing is I'm using only 10 Mbps link. So when we can use ISP2, if ISP1 is phased, then only can make use, right? So for that again, we don't need to maintain 80 Mbps links again. So just I can take what? 10 Mbps for only alternate purpose. Okay, now two ISPs are available. But my question is here, now traffic is going by ISP1. If ISP1 is fails, now can you reach to ISP2? Yes, guys, can you reach ISP2? No. Why? How? Why? What's the reason, guys? Routing table is not updated. Serial port traffic. No. Very simple logic is here. See, ISP1 is a Airtel, right? ISP2 is what? Airtel. If ISP1 fails, then what happened to ISP2? ISP2 also automatically fails. So that's the reason in the real time, when you are taking a backup, don't go with the same service provider. So better to go with what? Another service provider. So ISP2 link, let me take from BSNL. ISP2. ISP1 is Airtel, ISP2 is what? BSNL. So primary is 80 Mbps, so second is what? 10 Mbps. So this type of topologies we call what, guys? Redundancy. Redundancy for what here? ISP redundancy. But one more drawback is here. One more difference. One more point is ISP1 is okay. ISP2 is okay. But my router is fails. Router means what? Gateway. If router is fails, now LAN users can reach internet? No. So why? Because router fails means what? Your default routing is failed. Your ACL is being failed. NATing is failed, right? Then how we can reach? So here we don't have a redundancy for router. Yes, exactly. We required what? Backup router. So we have redundancy for ISP, but we don't have redundancy for what? Gateway. I mean router. There is no router redundancy. So let me design gateway redundancy protocol. I mean router redundancy topology. Let me design it now. So here I'm using two routers. This is a R1, this is R2. R1, R2, both are connected to same LAN. Now end user device 1 and device 2. ISP 1 says ISP 2. ISP 1, ISP 2 is connected to where? Internet. ISP 1 is a Airtel. What about ISP 2, guys? ISP 2 is BSNL. ISP 1 link speed is 80 Mbps. ISP 2 link speed is 10 Mbps. Okay. So here we have a two routers, R1 and R2. If R1 fails, now traffic can go via what? R2. So this topology we call router redundancy. I mean gateway redundancy topology, right? But we have very good advantage of this topology is a backup is available. So when we have the backup, some new problems will come in the picture. So what are the new problem? Let me explain clearly this scenario. Now R1 router LAN interface, R1 fast Ethernet IP address is 10.0.0.1. If R2 router fast Ethernet 0/0 IP address is 10.0.0.2. Now end users are using here 10.3, 10.4 like this. So, but my simple question is, what will be the default gateway address for our LAN users? What's the gateway address? 10.0.0.1 or 10.0.0.2? What will be the gateway address, guys? 10.0.0.1. Okay. Now, I have configured a gateway is a 10.0.0.1 is a gateway. Now, traffic can reach internet via which router? Traffic can reach via R1, R1 to ISP1, ISP1 to internet with how much speed? 80 Mbps. Now, after some time, if R1 is being failed, now users can reach internet? No. See here, we have redundancy for ISP. We are maintaining two ISPs. We are maintaining two routers. But still, if router is being failed, no communication, no internet access. Then how we can get internet access? Again, you have to change your gateway is a 10.2 until unless we don't get internet, right? Now, if we change the gateway is a 10.2, now traffic can go via R2, R2 to ISP2, ISP to internet with how much speed? 10 Mbps only, right? So my users will complaining. So hello network administrator, we are getting very slow internet traffic. We are getting very slow. My files are not uploading properly. Getting complaints. Now after some time, your R1 is being activated. Then how we can provide 80 Mbps link speed? How guys? So for all LAN users, again we have to change what? Gateway address as 10.1. Now traffic can go via R1, ISP1, internet with 80 Mbps. Like again after R1 fails, change gateway address. So this is the problem happened in the real time when we have the multiple routers, when we have the multiple gateway address. Okay. So to manage this type of issues in the real time, how we can face means we have some protocols are available. So that protocols are HSRP. First hop redundancy protocol. So first hop redundancy protocols are group of protocols that provide a gateway redundancy if there is more than one path to the destination, same destination. So which protocols? HSRP, VRRP, GLBP. So these all protocols is going to manage this topology. So first protocol is a HSRP, hot standby router protocol. VRRP, virtual router redundancy protocol. GLBP, gateway load balancing protocol. So these all protocols is going to manage this redundancy topology. Like how these topologies, how these protocols can manage, we clearly discuss it now. Can copy it. Right. So let me see one by one. The first one is HSRP. How the protocol is going to manage these gateways. HSRP is a Cisco protocol. If R1 is a Cisco router, if R2 also Cisco router, now between the R1 R2, which protocol will work? HSRP. What HSRP is doing is, so to manage R1 router, R2 router, I have configured HSRP. So what HSRP is telling is that R1, R2 router We are not two routers. We are not two gateways. We are belongs to only one gateway. We are belongs to only one router. So when you have the problem, when you have the two routers, R1, R2, when you have the multiple gateways, then problem is there, right? But what HRP is doing is going to combining two or more physical routers into one virtual router. Like R1, R2 is willing together acting like a one router. So this is one virtual router. Like STP for redundancy, right? Is a virtual router is creating now. Instead of R1, R2, virtual router has been configured. Now, virtual router IP is a 10.0.0.100. I have configured virtual router IP is what? 10. I'm telling to R1 router, hello R1 router, your physical interface IP is 10.1, but I have configured HSRP. So HSRP is created on virtual router. So that virtual router IP address is 10.0.0.100. Says virtual IP address. So keep this information from in R1 router. I'm telling to R2 router. R2 router. So here also keep the information. Here also maintain this information. What is the virtual router IP address? 10.0.0.100. So end users, instead of assigning 10.1 or 10.2 as a gateways, so I am providing 10.0.0.100 is a gateway address. Now gateway is a 10.100. Traffic is being generating from end users. Now traffic can reach internet via which router, guys? Now the traffic can reach internet via which router? Come on, Pradeep. Where is virtual router? Acting like a one virtual router means no routers is there. It's only what logical. So traffic has to go via R1 router or R2 router, right? R1 or R2, any. But which one is a means here is depends upon HSRP election process. So HSRP elections can done based on active router and standby. Active and standby model. Active router and standby router. R1 or R2. Out of two, anyone can be active and one more is a standby. So which is active and which is standby means it depends upon a router with highest priority. Not the lowest, highest. So router with highest priority is a active. Router with second highest priority is a standby. Example, R1 router priority is a 100. If R2 router priority is a 150, so which is active router? R1 or R2? Which is active? R1 priority is 100. R2 priority is 150. Out of two, which one is active? So active router means highest priority will be active router. Second highest priority is standby. Now, which one is active means what? R1 is a R1 or R2? Which is active, guys? R2 router is active, right? Because highest priority. If R2 is active means traffic is going via R2, R2 to ISP to internet with how much speed? 10 Mbps. But in my network, already I have a 80 Mbps link. So important point is here. Which router you want to make active, that router should be configured highest priority. So let me change priority for routers. If R1 router priority is a 200, R1 router is a 200, R2 is a 150. Now you tell me, guys, which one is active and which one is standby now? Now R1 is active, R2 is a standby. Now traffic is going via R1 whenever R1 fails. If R1 fails, Immediately, within no time, within any downtime, whenever R1 fails, the R2 router will take the role of active. The R2 router will become the active and traffic can reach to internet without any knowledge of end users. So end users, they don't know anything. So what they are getting only internet, but they don't know traffic is going via R1 or traffic is going via R2. So they don't know any knowledge of R1 is failed and traffic is going via R2. Nothing. They don't know anything. But so this is redundancy is being maintained by networking team. We need to manage. We need to maintain it. So how to manage it? We need to configure these protocols. We need to provide the proper internet access, proper service for end users. Okay. So when exactly this protocol is going to working? So this protocol work between Cisco to Cisco router. But if R1 is a Cisco router, if R2 is a non-Cisco router, then the same mechanism, active and standby. So then we required one open standard, which is VRRP. Virtual router redundancy protocol is a open standard protocol. HSRP Cisco protocol. HSRP groups multiple physical routers into one virtual router. So when a router down or link fails, there is a second physical device ready to respond the same default gateway address information. So how election process happening in HSRP? Okay. Let me explain once again. Try to consider this diagram here. R1, R2, two routers. Instead of two routers, if we configure HSRP, what HSRP is doing is going to create one virtual router. But traffic has to reach via R1 and R2. This depends upon what? Election process, active and standby router. So here, which is active and which is a standby? R1 and R2, which is active? Standby. Which is the active and which is standby? R1 and R2. Depends upon what priority, right? Highest priority. Let me show you the priority. R1 is 200, R2 is 150. Now tell me guys, which is active? R1. So how we can say R1 is active? By seeing the diagram and by seeing the priority is telling is R1 is active, right? But in the real time, how R1 will come to know R2 priority? How R2 will come to know R1 priority? So this is the one question, keep in mind. Now R1 is active, traffic is going via active router. Like after some time, if active router is being failed, active is being failed, so immediately standby router become what? Active router, right? Now R2 is become active, traffic is going by this. But here my question is, how R2 router will come to know first router is being failed? After first router is being failed, how much time will take second router to become the active? These are two questions. Question number one, how second router will come to know first router is being failed? After first router being failed, how much time will take second router to become active? Depends upon once if we configure HSRP, R1 router, R2 router will start exchanging hello packets. So these hello packets for every 3 seconds. R1 and R2 every 3 seconds they exchange what? Hello packets. Like inside the hello packet, priority values, virtual IP address information will be there. Every 3 seconds, R1 is telling is that my priority is 200 and R2 is telling is that my priority is 150. What R1 will understand? Okay, R2, I have a highest priority. I'm going to become active. Now what R2 is telling is that Okay, R1, I have a second highest priority. I'll be back up for you. So these things every 3 seconds they are making sure, right? Now after some time, if R1 is being failed, now what R2 is doing is R2 will wait up to 10 seconds. R2 is doing is what? Up to wait 10 seconds. If R1 fails, can R2 can receive the hello packets? No hellos. So whenever up to there is no hello reply, now what R2 will do? Okay, it has been 10 seconds. I'm not receiving any hello packet, but actually R1 is telling every 3 seconds hello packet, but it's been 10 seconds. I'm not receiving hello packet means so something happened to R1. I'm going to become active within 10 seconds without any knowledge of end users. They are reaching internet. So this is how your HSRP is going to work. Default priority is sunlight. Router with highest priority active, second highest priority is standby. If priorities are the same, R1 priority, R2 priority, same priority, then which is active? First router up becomes primary. Default hold timer is 10 seconds and hello timer is 3 seconds. Hello messages will send by using which IP address? 224.0.0.2. RIP hello packet multicast address. OSP of multicast address 224.0.0. 224.0.0. Yes, tell me. For RIP 9. For OSP of 5. Perfect. I want 6 also. Role of active router. What is the role of active router? Active router only actively forwards traffic. Sends ARP messages requested for virtual IP address and virtual MAC address. Sending hello pack. R1 router will forward user traffic. I mean active router will forward the user traffic and sending hello packet to R2 and sending virtual information, virtual IP address and virtual MAC address. Then what's the role of standby router? So standby is a backup for active. Sends hello packets also. Whenever hellos is not received, I repeat, whenever hellos is not received, then only standby router will take role of active router and forward user traffic. So whenever hellos is not received from active, then only standby router will come in the picture. In the meanwhile, is only for what purpose? Is a backup for active router, right? Here now R1 is a active, R2 is a standby. When standby will come in the picture? When standby route is not receiving hello packet, then only take the role, right? So as long as active is activated, R1 is activated, R2 will come in the picture? No. The traffic is going via R1 to ISP1, internet, 80 Mbps, okay. But we are paying for R2 link also, right? So what about 10 Mbps link? Then when we utilize the 10 Mbps link? When? When guys? When you can use the 10 Mbps link? When we use? If R1 is fails, then only can make use, right? We are paying for, we are maintaining for 10 Mbps also. We are not using it. When you can use, if R1 fails, then only. Then what we need to do? The same mechanism in HSRP protocol and VRP protocol also. Active and standby. Active only forward the traffic. Standby only for backup. When standby will become the picture fails. Thing is, why we can't make use, Pradeep, R1 and R2? Yes, we can make use R1 and R2. When we can make use of R2 means we need to configure GLBP in R1 and R2. If we configure GLBP in R1 R2, like GLBP mechanism is a no standby, only active model. R1 is active, R2 is also active. The thing is, GLBP can work in only which protocol it is a Cisco protocol. If R1, R2 is Cisco, now you can configure GLBP. The traffic can go via R1 also, and traffic can go via what? R2 also. Okay. The configuration part. Interface type. Fast Ethernet number 0/0. Standby HSRP group number you can use between 12 to 55 any number. And IP space your virtual IP. So that IP you can decide it, whatever it can be, you can use it. My example is 10.0.0.100. And standby your group number you can use 12 to 55 between any number you can use. And priority, so which router you want to make a active, that router should be configured highest priority. Example have configured 200 and standby group number 12 to 55 print. Like once this is a print command is a recommend to configure on active router. R1, R2, two routers. See the configuration here. Interface pass Ethernet 0/0. Standby HSRP group number. Example 23. IP space virtual IP 10.0.0.100. Yeah. Group number 23 is not supporting here. So let me change as a group number 1. So already group number 14 is running in my R1 router. It means already is configured. Showing here active on standby model. So directly we'll check the verification command. Show standby brief. Group number 14, priority is 100. Standby. Now R1 is what? Standby router. 10.2 is active. So this is a active router, I think so. So standby brief. Standby is 10.0.0.1. Active is a local router. This is a active router. So let me change the priority for two routers. Then once again we'll check it. Let me make R1 is a interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Standby 14. Priority 250 have configured. For R2 router, interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Standby 14. Priority is 150. Now R1 should become what? Active router, right? Selection process already been configured, so it is not changing. What I'm doing is, let me restart switch once again. Then election process has been reloaded. State standby to active is become, right? Show standby brief. Or the state state is what? Speaking state. So speaking to standby, standby to active. Active router. Standby is not showing, unknown is showing. Now standby showing is what? 10.2. Like this. Verification command. So standby. Load balancing will comes under GLBP topic will comes under CCNP advanced level classes. We have a lot of syllabus. We'll have the only HSRP protocol. Just I'm telling you is that we have the option is this. Okay, Pradeep? Yeah, option is what? We can make R1, R2 both as a active routers. Right. Clear all of you? So these are the network services and router redundancy protocol. This for today. So today we have finished about Syslog, NTP, DHCP, HSRP, redundancy protocol. So tomorrow we'll continue with some more protocols. And you try to practice with the DHCP and NTP and Syslog and these HSRP protocols. If you are facing any problems, and you can text me in the WhatsApp. I'll try to resolve. Okay, guys. Any doubts? Hello, can you hear me, guys? Any questions? Any doubts? Okay, Pradeep. Thank you. Thanks to all once again. If you have any doubts, you can text me in the WhatsApp. I'll try to resolve. Yes, Sunil, we are going to training for NL1 position only. Even you can go for, actually, we are training for NL1 position, but the companies directly will recruit it as NL1. So first we'll keep on the 6 months or 8 months in the NOC team. Later you can come to L1 position. But your designation is L1 position only. L1 employee, NL1 employee. But your work is on what? NOC team, NOC team. Like after 6 months, then you can take what? L1 position. But our training course, our training is going to on based upon the NL1 position only. So beware of that when in the real time, when your companies have been offering. So first make sure that you are going to apply for DNL1 or NL1. So don't commitment for L1 position. If it's a NL1 is a good. If it's a DNL1, you need to think about it. You're the just graduation has been completed, very fresher, then you can start your career from DNL1 also, no problem. But you already in the long back, like 2017 and 18, they passed out. You better to go with to start with what? NL1 position. Okay. But very freshers, where just graduation has been completed, the persons can start your career from DNL1 also, no problem. Right. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Meet you tomorrow. I'm going to end the meeting now. Thank you.